Hi, it's John Kelly. In this module, we are going to discuss written representations. And as always, we want to be efficient and effective, follow professional standards, and document what we have done properly. Now, the first thing the section tells us is that the rep letter is in fact audit evidence, that representations are evidence. Though it also goes on to say that representations alone are probably not enough evidence. So if the question is valuation of accounts receivable, it's important to get a representation from management that they think the valuation is okay. But you're also going to do your own audit procedures to develop assurance yourself, sufficient appropriate audit evidence as to the collectability of receivables. So do the proper audit procedures and then get a representation. Section does note that for things like management intention, perhaps the only thing you can do is get a representation. And you must request and receive a representation letter. And the suggestion in 210A13 is that you put in the engagement letter a statement that management agrees to that they will provide the requested representations. And I guess the most important thing about the rep letter, second most important perhaps, what's in it is probably the most important, but second most important is you must get it. It must be in your hands before you issue the audit report. And that's sort of implicit in a number of sections that I've listed here. If you don't get it, you have to disclaim the audit opinion, which means that you have to have it before you issue your unqualified audit report. And there are some other sections that you can use to determine that you need to have those representations in hand before you issue the audit report. Now, the date of the rep letter, 560.14 says it can be shortly before the date of the audit report, but not after. So, of course, the best is that the date of the audit report, the date of the rep letter, the date that management approves the financial statements, and if you want to throw in the date of the engagement letter, just to keep your life simple, that's probably the best, that all of those dates be the same. That's just efficient and effective. Contents, there's a partial list in 580, but included or in addition to what's in 580, you would get representations about estimates. You would include unadjusted errors if there were any. This is a tricky one, but if you request representations from management, you have to make sure that the board knows about that. Now, in a small audit where management and the board are kind of the same, you don't need to worry about that. But in a larger audit, or perhaps in a not-for-profit audit, you need to give that letter to the board. Sometimes what you do is have a board member sign the rep letter, and that makes sure that the board then knows about the contents of the rep letter. And there are a lot of other things that different firms put in, so if you're looking to develop your own representation letter, one of the ways of doing that is find a firm that has a very comprehensive one and see if you can be inspired by what they have in their rep letter to put in to determine what you put in your rep letter. And of course, it has to be in writing, and that's the documentation. So, thanks for listening.